Welcome back to the Skylanders Ultimate Soul Gem Locke. Last video I completed Spyro's adventure with these 11 Skylanders still alive, so I'll be starting off here with them. If I lose and need to restart, then I'll go back to the beginning of this game with those same 11. So I've essentially got a checkpoint right here. However, at any point in the game, if I feel like I need more Skylanders to win, I can go back to the first game and try again from the beginning to win with a bigger roster. Is what I would say if I didn't win with 11 survivors. And of course, once I complete the 4 games I plan to take this challenge into individually, I'll try to do the entire run on one continuous attempt, all the way from Spyro's adventure to Trap Team with no checkpoints. Here I am in level 2. The beginning of the game is always easy, and even though this is my first attempt, I've got such a big roster, so even some mistakes should be able to be played around. At this point in the game, if I had a lobber character such as Shroom Boom, I'd be able to throw projectiles up onto the ledge where all the Drow archers are, which would be a much easier way to take them out, but I don't. And for some reason, when I enter this house, experience points keep flying in from off screen and coming towards me. Why are they doing that? I have genuinely no idea. I don't know what I did. These levels are always going to be pretty easy no matter what the size of my roster is, but I do like to show them anyways just because they haven't appeared in this video series yet. Another character locked behind a giant wall, and I tried shooting it with the cannon too. That doesn't work. I don't know why. It really seems like it should work, but it doesn't. Luckily, not too many characters are locked behind requiring a giant. However, the first 2 levels do have one, so I have to skip them for now. Interestingly, even though I'm playing on easy mode, enemies with armor have the same amount of armor health as they do on higher difficulties. So it still takes the same amount of hits to knock off the armor as it does on later difficulties. What's even the purpose of life spell punks on easy mode? Everything has like 10 total health. I can just kill them before they even get healed. Here's the first soul gem we can actually unlock for this challenge. And now that I've collected it, Hot Dog is available for me to use on the team. Thankfully, Hot Dog is a pretty good character, so he should be pretty helpful in this run. When it comes to the arena, the whole thing is really easy. It's mostly just chompies. Not even the section with Brock at the end and the dozens of life spell punks is any difficult. Firstly, he's walking onto the fire and hurting himself, but besides that, like I said before, I'm on easy mode, so he doesn't have too much health. And once everyone's taken out, it'll only take a couple of seconds to finish him off. Unfortunately, he can't dive off the edge in this game, as opposed to some of the characters in Trap Team. I don't know if I'll be taking advantage of that yet or not. As many people know, Hex probably has the best WoW POW in this game, and you can see right there, 280 damage in one hit, and it one-shot the Goliath. That is so incredibly powerful. Along with her ability to set up the bone wall, she can just block enemies from even coming in, and it does a great job of offsetting how long it takes to charge up that move.
Embrace your dark side.
And this is an important soul gem. We get Swarm, our first giant, and after I beat this level, you'll see I'm going to go back to levels 1 and 2 to unlock the characters in those levels. Executioners are always scary, especially if there's 2, but luckily I'm able to manage. Here I try to take out all the Mohawk Cyclopses before they start spinning, because as we all know, they're all invincible while spinning, so I want to make sure that they're not all able to do that at once. If none of them are vulnerable and they spread out and take up the entire space of the arena, I'm in trouble. This area is a bit more of the same, so not too much difficulty here besides what we've already seen. Even 2 Goliath throws at once isn't a huge deal. Swarm comes back to level 1 to unlock my friend Shroom Boom, one of my favorite characters from this game. Hopefully I'll be able to use him a lot here. And in level 2 we get Hothead, my favorite giant in fact. During chapter 5, I unfortunately found out Ghost Roaster still slips on the ice while you're using his dash move. So he's not going to be very useful. This Mohawk Cyclops is straight up cheating. He almost killed me, he wasn't even spinning. That Executioner jumped down, didn't even get a chance to attack. That's the power of easy mode. And we get Thump back. One of the worst characters for this challenge, but a character is a character. Especially because he's easy to unlock, I'll definitely take it. Tons of Mohawks here. This is what I was talking about before. If you let them all start swinging, you're gonna lose ground real quick. Luckily, I do somehow manage to avoid them, at least for now. Although Voodoo has the elemental bonus in this area, looking back I don't think he was the best choice because the Executioners will just start spinning if I ever get close. And I can get close easily with the grappling hook attack, but then I have to just hit him once and run away. Right there I accidentally input a combo, so I almost died. And I didn't know the Executioner could kill each other. So this level is pretty difficult. Tons of tight corridors with tons of enemies in them. And as you can see, that's kind of a big problem. I also forgot about the spawn in an invincibility rule that I usually put into play. You'll see that quite a bit of that come up in this run, and that's exactly why I have the rule, but we have 3 deaths unfortunately. All of them in quick succession too. But we can make up for it a little bit by getting Bouncer here. Ghost Roaster continues to tear up the local population. This character seems to get better every time I play him. I was never a huge Ghost Roaster fan, but I think I might be becoming one. This enemy, he's got his shield up, but I still killed him. I don't know if maybe you're actually able to snipe them from behind, or what's more likely is he just put his shield down the moment I was about to hit him. Little known fact, most people think the minimum possible moves to beat this puzzle is 7, but it's actually possible in 2. My guess is if you go into a portal on the first move you can immediately turn again, but I think that's the only example of a puzzle like that in this game. Coming up towards the end of the level, I definitely could have taken the Archean Bomber's bombs to use, but I didn't want to risk it. This one enemy on its own isn't super tough anyways. Approaching Willikin Village, I get to try out Stump Smash's Wow Pow attack, which is one of my favorite ones. Up here, you can just roll acorns over and over again and pummel the enemies before they get a chance to do anything. Alright, Shroom Boom, my main man. Oh, I died already? Come on. Hothead cleans up the rest by laying traps with his rain attack. And we get Pop Fizz, one of my other favorite characters in this game. Belly dive straight into a group of enemies here. It was risky, but I killed most of them and it worked out. Thumpback's one saving grace, in my opinion, is that the belly slide water spout attack is pretty powerful, and it actually gives him some mobility, even though you can't control where it goes and how long it lasts and stuff like that. That was pretty close. I dove right into that guy right as he was about to attack. And it's Chompy Mage time. My strategy is to hover as Drobot and shoot lasers. Yeah, that is most Drobot gameplay, but it works usually. Do not start this level at nighttime. Chompy Mage will try and cheat. It looks like right here I get run over, but after checking, I didn't take any damage, thankfully. And after a while of that, I'm able to take down the Chompy Mage. Being able to throw potions up onto this ledge is super useful because everyone knows the troll grenade throwers are super overpowered. The grenades always somehow find a way to roll right into you. And on this challenge, that isn't really something I can deal with, at least not getting hit. I have to be slightly careful here because if you hit those bombs and walk near them, they will explode into you. And Chompy Bot 9000 decides to show up just after all the other enemies are defeated, which is really nice of him. Allows me to take him on one-on-one, and that makes it a real easy fight. So far, Pop Fizz has been absolutely destroying this level. These shielders gave me quite a bit of trouble, though I was eventually able to throw a potion behind them so that it could explode onto their vulnerable side. I might need to find a better way to deal. And Crusher's Soul Gem is unlocked, so now I can use another one of the giants I don't think will be very useful in this run, but we'll see. Maybe he proves me wrong. I do really like the boulder slide. Maybe you can tell the theme. I like the mobility moves. And at this point, I accidentally rolled into the Chompy Bot and he stepped on me and killed me. Whoops, that wasn't very long for Crusher. Though not too much longer later after that, I can take down the rest of this level thanks to the power of Wham-Shell. Ninjini is unlocked. One of my favorite giants, but one of the worst ones. Unfortunate, but maybe I can make something happen. Not much to say about this section, just shoot the enemies and don't walk too close towards them. For the upcoming Troll Stomper, I tried to pick up this boulder before he came in, but I was a little too slow, and I even got hit before I was able to throw it, so much for that. If I want to try that again, I'm going to need to go much quicker. And this is a very dreaded part of the game for challenge runners. There's so many enemies here, they just don't stop spawning. The area's pretty small, and there isn't really a super good strategy to beat them. Also, there's another example of me getting hit by spawn-in and invincibility not existing. A few of the enemies here you can be left alone and they won't bother you too much, but then sometimes a troll grenader will jump in and you won't notice, so you'll leave him alone and then a grenade will come out of nowhere. That's probably the scariest thing that can happen on this level, or this section of the level. Hot Dog's flame powers are definitely a big help here. He can shoot some fireballs pretty far forwards and take out all the enemies before they can get close. He does also have a dash move, but it's tied to one of his combos, which makes it pretty difficult to pull off. And this guy shoots me before he's even in the arena, which I think is kind of unfair, but I suppose I do that to the enemies sometimes as well. And now 2 Troll Stompers at the same time with some Mohawk Cyclopses is no easy task. Fortunately, they're not too close to each other, so you can at least stand out of the range of one of them while you attack the other. Make sure to be careful of that Mace Major who pops out at the end too, because he will try to attack you before he lands. Here's the second official arena in the game. All the arenas are going to be pretty tough for the same reasons, which you probably already know why. Many enemies, they keep coming. Small areas, this one in particular has the area changing as well. And there's quite a bit of grenaders. Sometimes the ground will even form in such a way where you can't leave, which is why I have a projectile character. But it can be pretty annoying when the grenade generals are there and they can throw grenades onto your isolated island. That wasn't even fair. This guy jumped in and hit me before I could run away. And now we have the isolated Grenade General Island. I gotta take those guys out as soon as I can. I'm not even over on that island and these guys can't handle it. My ghosts. There's just a couple of them, but they're doing all the work. Ghost Roaster, I feel like, is especially good in this challenge because his dash attack one-shots almost every small enemy and leaves a ghost behind. You may not have his third attack available, but he's still super powerful. And time for Jawbreaker, not the Skylander. This guy, again, just like Brock, he has so little health that you can probably kill him pretty consistently before any of his reinforcements come in. I really should have switched to a higher damage output character, but it didn't even matter. Aerial attack spawns in some shielding enemies, but they're not too much more difficult to deal with than the normal versions. They can be slightly more difficult to see as well, but I don't find that as an issue. When it comes time to get a bomb to throw at this cannon, I can't even get one without this guy dying. The mini ghosts are just that powerful. This is the only level in this game, surprisingly, where you have to go into an elemental area to get a soul gem, so it is quite important to make sure you've got an air Skylander left alive by this point. It is also quite a long area, but after it's over you can add Fright Rider to the team. Later on there is a semi-difficult part of this level. There's a ton of Drow archers, though they surprisingly haven't been giving me too many issues this run. It's mostly what comes after. There's a bunch of big, heavy enemies, and those can be more difficult to take out, especially quickly and safely. Like, for example, right there. This Chompy bot actually hits me, but I didn't even notice while playing, so I go on for a long time thinking Swarm is still alive. So this is technically cheating, whoops, but I'll just let you know now I didn't beat the run, so it didn't end up making a difference. Hopefully I'll catch if that ever happens in the future. And it was a good attempt from you, Fright Rider, but unfortunately your pilot was not very skilled there. That would be me. I didn't know this. Wrecking Ball can eat these guys, even when their shields are facing him. That is extremely useful to know, especially for the Troll Home security level. Watch the left side of your screen here very carefully. There's a troll that jumps out of the pit, and then lands back in the pit and dies. There he goes. More inhuman shields to snack on real quick. This was a very close call with the traps. Very needlessly close, I should add. And Sprocket is unlocked, who I actually think would be pretty good for this run. The green safe zones here for the boss fight get kind of messed up when you pick up and carry the oil drum or whatever it is as he's attacking. I can use it to slam down and deal a bunch of damage, combined with Hothead's other high power moves to defeat this guy before the lasers and enemies can even come out and attack me. Same thing on phase 2. The rain can hit multiple segments at the same time, which really speeds up dealing damage. Especially when you can hit multiple 100s with the meteor attack. For the final phase, I just decide to send it. Do as much damage as I can, and hopefully I can kill him before the lasers can track me down. It looks like it's gonna be real close, but I got hit. And as I was walking away to switch out, the boss actually died. Though that is still a death for Hothead. Coming up next, we got Molten Mountain, Chapter 12. There are only 16 chapters in this game, so we're getting pretty close to the end, and like I mentioned before, this is my first run through of this game while playing this challenge. I know the roster at the beginning was huge, but most of the characters unlocked in Giants are not very good. Don't ask what I'm doing with Whamshell here, just pretend you didn't see it. This section looks deceptively difficult. I know I talk about these things a lot, but invincible enemies, small projectiles with big explosions, and small corridors do not mix. I may be wrong on this, but I feel like the Slobbering Mudicus has the biggest health increase of all non-boss enemies between difficulties. I hit him like twice, and then he died. They have so much more health on Nightmare mode. This character continues to pull way more than his weight. As these trolls come out of the buildings, they die straight away to the ghosts, and I don't even have to kill them. Here's Thumpback struggling to kill some armored enemies. And Pop Fizz can come in to clean up the job. Magic is stronger here, so that helps me a ton in taking these guys out quickly. And Tree Rex gets added to the team, probably one of the best giants. His range is huge on that main attack. Look how many enemies here I can take out with one move, and they're so far away from each other. If you're wondering why my Tree Rex and Bouncer are different color variations, it's because I don't own the normal colors, don't tell anyone. And technically they have different stats, but they're not much different, and I don't think they'll affect this run. But I am a little worried for Swap Force, because a lot of my characters are their light core versions, and I don't have the regular versions. So if I allow myself to switch out freely, I could gain a huge advantage like that, and I really don't want to win that way. Up next is Sprocket. She can plant her turrets here, which are actually going to be extremely powerful in this limited area. You've also got greatly increased armor while inside the turret as a tank, so that should help offset the fact she doesn't have much speed. These guys are just jumping straight into their doom. What are they thinking? You can kind of trap enemies with the turrets because there's not too much room between the saw blades in the middle and on the outside. Unfortunately, I didn't leave enough room between me and this enemy. After not too much longer, I can take him out, which leads to the final boss of this area, the hardest boss in gaming, Pipsqueak, and he's down. No, but the Shadow Duke, this might be a bit of an issue. Except that he's probably gonna die before any of the reinforcements come out, just like in the other arenas. I do take a quick detour to kill the grenade throwers, but they're not much of a problem. Now time for the Oracle. This is definitely one of the most awkward levels for this run. You see, the way this level works is based on which challenge you take, that determines what challenges you get next. And I need to get to a specific one to get Eyebrow, specifically the Big Fish. The problem is, the Big Fish level is pretty difficult because it means all the enemies are tiny and they leave behind tiny bombs with big explosions. There's less room to run and it's hard to see which enemies are attacking. Arguably the worst part is that in order to continue from there, you have to then do the Trial of Element, which means there's an ambush after, a forced ambush. It may genuinely be worth skipping Eyebrow in order to take an easier path, because he's also not the best character. And the way I lose Wrecking Ball here, the last character of the run, kinda trash. I really didn't expect that, unfortunately. Here's the map of all the different areas you can go to, courtesy of darkspyro.net. It may be easier to go through this level on the opposite side of where Eyebrow is, because most of the levels are less challenging and there's no forced ambush. But I really kind of feel bad skipping a character, especially a popular character. He's not very good for this challenge because he's a slow melee attacking giant, but still, any help is something I should really be taking. Here I have a color-coded map based on which areas I think are easy and hard. Green rooms are literally free, there's no enemies. Yellow is a little bit of difficulty, but they're really pretty simple. Especially the princess room, there's literally one root runner and a couple of chompies. Orange, there's many enemies and there's real threat of dying. And reds are really, really difficult, and I probably want to avoid them at all costs. And I can, but I can't get Eyebrow in the process. I'll have to decide for next time if I want to skip Eyebrow or maybe collect him and then exit the level to at least avoid the ambush, but we'll see. For now, the Oracle is the chapter to beat. This is as far as I was able to get.